Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mitch. Good Thursday morning to you all. Hope you guys are feeling well, having a great start to your day, a great week out there so far. Got you an update on what's going to happen weather-wise. For today, we're going to talk about a couple things, but overall, not a very active day, so there's not a whole lot to speak on. But I do want to speak on a couple things, and it's how cold Florida is this morning. It's probably the biggest topic of this video. It's honestly very impressive how cold temperatures have gotten parts of Florida, and even people outside of Florida might find this very interesting. So we'll talk a little bit on that. Then we'll break it down region to region and talk about what we can see today. Very cold morning for a lot of folks, especially in the southeast, where it looks like certain areas got their first sub 32-degree reading before areas further to the north did this year. So it's pretty impressive. For example, my area, most areas in my area, in my neck of the woods in central South Carolina, got below freezing yesterday morning. So they didn't even put up a freeze warning for this morning. So I say that because what you're about to say won't make a whole lot of sense, but I'll explain to you here in a second. But if you guys have not subscribed, certainly consider doing that. Like the video if you like it. You guys got anything that I can pray about, pray over, please put it in the comments below so I can pray over them and so others can do so too. So let's get rolling. Take a look at water vapor loop. The entire front has cleared the entire eastern U.S., including South Florida, which we had very impressive, unseasonably cool weather yesterday for the southern tip of Florida. It was just rainy. It was cool. It was only in the 60s, only in the 50s for certain areas. Very impressive for this time of the year, and definitely unseasonably cool for any time of the year, really. But there's certain areas in the Big Bend of Florida, north central Florida, very chilly this morning. I'm talking about below 32 degrees cold. It's wild to see. And you look at this. This is from my Twitter. I know this is very small, but this is off a weather app called Surface, which I haven't found a way to actually download it on my desktop computer. But it's a great phone app. I think it costs $9.99 or something, or maybe $14.99. But it actually takes readings off National Weather Service data for the most part. So, I mean, look at this. This is the Big Bend areas of Florida, a 32-degree reading. And this is legit weather info. Now, some of it can be off, but most of the time it's not. It is cold in Florida. I mean, it's in the 30s all the way about an hour north of Tampa Bay. I mean, this is very impressive for this time of the year. Mid-October, sub-freezing temperatures in the Big Bend areas of Florida. I mean, come on, man. That is cold. That is very impressive to see for sure. But freeze warning's still up for these purple shaded areas, frost advisories in these areas right here, in this other blue kind of area. But you see this big gap right here. The reason you don't have any kind of warnings, watches, is because the growing season has officially ended, meaning widespread freezes have already occurred in these areas right into here. So therefore, you don't have freeze warnings, and you won't see that again until the springtime. So there's that, and let's keep it rolling. Let's break it down region to region. Not a very active day as far as precipitation. Probably the least active day we've seen so far this week. Really, we're watching this low pressure. We'll see if a low pressure can get going off the coast of the southeast. That might influence the weather along the eastern U.S. later this weekend. Outside of that, maybe some showers, certainly possible in basically the southern half of the peninsula of Florida. Outside of that, nowhere else in the southeast is going to see a drop of rain. The north central U.S., the northeast, you're still going to be dealing with some lake effect moisture. Some of this can be in the form of some flurries, especially if some moisture can make it to these higher elevations of New York, Vermont, New Hampshire. Some moisture can make its way into the area, but in general, not a whole lot of moisture firing off these Great Lakes anymore. It looks like it's toning down for right now as the directional flow kind of shifts. But either way, not a lot of moisture firing off the Great Lakes today. So maybe some showers, and maybe some wet snowflakes in far western areas of New York State. But outside of that, pretty quiet day. South Central U.S., kind of the same deal as yesterday. Very quiet weather. Absolutely nothing going on today in the South Central U.S. And then you look at the North Central U.S. and Great Lakes region. Places like that. Maybe some lake effect moisture popping off Lake Michigan for northern areas of Michigan. Some of this could mix with some wet snow, maybe just some cold rain showers. Outside of that, not a big deal. There's not a lot going on. Maybe some showers will drift their way into northern Minnesota into the overnight hours. But very quiet weather day. I mean, normally I try to get my videos around 7 to 8 minutes, but I don't even think we're going to hit that this morning. It's just very quiet. Not a whole lot going on. Temperatures, it's warming up a little bit. For example, the Carolinas, a lot of areas didn't get out of the 50s yesterday. You certainly will see widespread 60s today. Big temperature rebound, for example, for areas of northern Florida, where you're waking up into widespread 30s this morning. By the time we get to the afternoon hours, maybe the upper 60s to low 70s. Texas certainly starting to warm up. You might hit the low 80s today in like Dallas, 70s for the middle of the country, starting to warm up ahead of a cold front. And like we talked about last night, there is going to be a severe weather risk, a possibility. Sometime next week, we're watching a big clashing of boundaries, if you will, that we really need to watch out for in these areas. We'll try to do this on the fly here on what's going to happen next week. As we're getting into this weekend, we'll watch this coastal system, and then we're getting into early next week. You got this one big low pressure right here that will ride the boundary of a trough, a cold front that will move through. And then another one comes on through, and we'll see if this can bring any severe weather for certain areas of the Ohio Valley midway next week. We'll have to watch. There's a big difference here. I think this could be a big system right here early next week for the north central U.S. with snow on the backside with cold areas. Maybe some kind of severe weather threat right into here. Maybe. This will try to yank up some low-level moisture. We'll take a look at dew points right into here where we can really see kind of a pulling of a moist flow to the north right here, a massive moist sector. And there's a possibility that there could be a severe weather threat along maybe what you can call it a developing dry line, but we'll have to see what kind of system this will develop into. It's a big question mark here. I'm kind of doing everything on the fly here, guys, so I do apologize. But it's a big question on what's going to happen here. But I do think that could be a pretty stout storm system somewhere next week. Just not sure what's going to happen yet, but there's already kind of talks of a severe weather system potential for next week with this system. I do think there is a chance for a significant winter storm for areas of the northern plains with this. But we'll watch this. I'm kind of all over the place right now. We'll take a look at moisture really quick. And I do think, getting into this weekend, we're going to have a pretty significant Rockies, Montana, Wyoming winter storm on our hands as we get to the latter part of this coming weekend. So we'll talk about this a little bit tonight, because I do think this will be the first significant winter storm for these areas like Wyoming, Montana, maybe the western Dakotas, even some snow maybe all the way down to Nebraska. So we might talk about this a little bit tonight. There is a chance I might not get a video tonight. I want to remind you guys, I will be I'm going on my camping trip tomorrow morning. So I literally will not have any videos Friday, Saturday, and I will likely have you a video Sunday evening. So there'll be a period Friday, Saturday through Sunday morning where I won't have any videos. I might make an update in the mountains or something, but if people, I know you guys know the mountains well. There's hardly ever any good service up there, especially where I'm going out in the boondocks. So that's all I got, guys. You guys have an awesome Thursday. God bless all y'all, and I should be with you guys tonight. God bless.